What's up, family? Welcome to another episode of Mediazewtv. I hope everyone is doing okay out there, in good spirits and in good health. And what continues to be the biggest story is still Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. But before we get started, can you please hit that like, share, and subscribe button? It goes a long way to help the channel. And on that note, let's go. Now you see that hearing the kid talk, he's very bright, and the spotlight doesn't bother him at all because he was raised up in it. And it was basically the same situation that his father, Deion, had when he came into the league. Deion already had his primetime brand, just like Shedeur has his legendary brand. And now they're talking about the kid's jewelry. The same thing with Deion. The only difference was Deion had a neck full of gold with no shirt on. Of course, the white sports talking heads had a lot to say, but the loudest black person at that time was filmmaker Spike Lee, who called Deion a jerk. So it doesn't matter if the person obeys the law off the field and does all the right things. You still get judged like a book by its cover. But everyone keeps saying that Shedeur has learned a valuable lesson. But I think the only true, that's only true to a certain extent. If the intention was to break him, they haven't been studying him and his entire family over the years. They've been successful at every level. And you can look at who is criticizing Deion and Shedeur. They all have the same thing in common. It's just a pack of losers. And I don't even count the talking sports heads who give hot takes just to get ratings on top of going off of a pre-planned script. So I just disregard a lot of them because they're just like WWE wrestling going off a script, you know. So let's start with loser number one, Antonio Brown. The only way Antonio Brown can make headlines now is by saying something crazy or when he's making a headline beating on a woman somewhere. And it didn't help by aligning himself with Kanye West. He pretty much killed his own brand. Even after quitting in the middle of the game, he still had a chance, but he linked up with Kanye. And yes, Antonio Brown had a Hall of Fame career with Hall of Fame numbers, but he won't get in. A lot of people are in the Hall of Fame that had personal issues, but when Antonio Brown quit on Tampa Bay, took his shirt off, danced off the field, waving at the crowd, then turned around and criticized Tom Brady, saying that he didn't have his back. You know, just the fool. Nobody can defend that type of ish. And that was the ultimate disrespect to the game. And he won't get into the Hall of Fame. Then you have Criscarter, another loser. Criscarter, get this. Criscarter was using ecstasy when he was in college at Ohio State, along with the cocaine and weed. Now imagine that. He's being personal and judgmental and has never met Shedeur. But Shedeur does not have a drug problem, nor off the field issues. And Criscarter was doing ecstasy before it was popular. Then got to the NFL and failed like 3 drug tests with the Eagles before they released him. And to this day, he blames Buddy Ryan, who was the coach, for giving up on him and trading him to the Vikings. He's always been a hater. And Johnny Manziel was a drug addict when he came out of Texas A&M, but at least Johnny Manziel took accountability and still does. Besides being kicked out of the ESPN building for threatening to punch Skip Bayless in the face, nobody wants to deal with Criscarter, which is why he's on YouTube saying outlandish stuff, trying to get his channel off the ground. It's not really Shedeur. 99% of his hate comes from Deion being his dad. Like Deion said, don't nail my children to the cross. Nail me to it. I think the Sanders family is used to it at this point, but it makes for good TV and sports conversations, which is ironic to me, but not surprising because it's all about the bottom line at the end of the day. And Shedeur hasn't played one down in the NFL, but everybody is capitalizing off his name and wants a piece of him, from Fox Sports to ESPN to FS1 and CBS. And the league underestimated his drawing power. He's already got the #1 selling jersey in the NFL. So you and I know how bad Cleveland needs a star and how dead they've been for the past 30 years. The owner is not stupid. The owner understands the bottom line, the ticket sales, the merch, and all of that. And I look for him to be starting. You can just look at history. If the fans holler loud enough, they got to start him. Same thing happened in Atlanta when Dan Reeves drafted Michael Vick. Chris Chandler took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. But once those jersey sales and tickets started being sold, Dan Reeves had to start him. And in this situation, the same thing is going to happen with Shedeur in Cleveland. You can mark my words. But anyway, what do y'all think? Just go ahead and leave your comments below. And if you enjoyed the video and haven't done so already, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more updates. It goes a long way to help the channel. So put God first, stay engaged, and stay informed. Peace.
It's